So, what is this all about? The story of the Real ID Act actually starts back in 2005. It was a recommendation from the 9/11 Commission to set stronger, more consistent national standards for identification, like driver's licenses. The goal was simple: make it harder for someone to get a fraudulent ID and, in turn, make sure people are who they say they are when they do things like board a plane or enter a secure federal building. For years, this has felt like a problem for another day. The deadline has been pushed back so many times that a lot of people just assume it'll happen again. But let me be perfectly clear. The Department of Homeland Security has set the final enforcement date for May 7th, 2025, and are enforcing it today. Now, federal agencies, including the TSA, will not be allowed to accept old, non-compliant driver's licenses. This isn't up to your state, it's a federal law, and every state has to follow it. And it's not just about flying. A Real ID will be required to get into many federal facilities, like military bases and certain courthouses. However, it's just as important to know what it's not for. You won't need a Real ID to drive, vote, go to a hospital, visit a post office, or apply for federal benefits like Social Security. For most of us, the biggest impact will be right at the airport security line. That's where the mistake that grounds you will happen. And with millions of people still holding non-compliant IDs, it is already getting chaotic for anyone who has waited past the deadline. So, how can you tell if you're one of the people at risk of getting stuck? The good news is, you can figure this out right now in about 5 seconds. Go ahead and pause this, grab your wallet, and pull out your state-issued driver's license or ID card. Now, look closely at one of the top corners. You're looking for a very specific symbol, a star. It might be a gold star, a black star, or a star inside a circle. If you see that star, congratulations. Your license is Real ID compliant, and you have nothing to worry about for domestic flights. You're all set. But what if there's no star? If your ID is starless, you're holding a standard, non-compliant license. It might even say federal limits apply or not for federal identification. This is the ID that the TSA has started to reject, today, not in the future. If that's what's in your hand, then you need to pay close attention. But don't panic. The fact that you're watching this now means you have time to fix it. The closer you get to your travel date, the more crowded the DMV will appear. Waiting until just before you travel is not an option. This is not a quick process, but you can get it done. Alright, for everyone who did the wallet check and came up starless, here's your action plan. Getting a Real ID isn't hard, but the rules are very specific, and it almost always requires an in-person trip to your state's DMV or licensing office. You can't just do this online because they have to scan your original documents. The federal government requires every state to verify 4 key things: your identity and lawful status, your social security number, and 2 proofs of residency. Let's break down what that actually means. First, to prove your identity and date of birth, you'll need an original or certified copy of a document, like a United States birth certificate or a valid United States passport. Other options include a permanent resident card or a certificate of naturalization. The key here is original or certified copy. A photocopy of your birth certificate won't work. Second, you have to prove your social security number. Your actual social security card is the easiest way. If you can't find it, a W-2 form, a 1099, or a pay stub that shows your full number usually works too. Third, you need 2 different documents proving you live in your state. Think of official mail. Utility bills, bank statements, mortgage or lease agreements, or even a Medicare benefit statement are all common examples. The documents must show your current name and address, and usually need to be recent. 2 statements from the same bank might not count. They often have to be from different sources. Now, here's a hurdle that trips up many people: name changes. If the name on your birth certificate or passport is different from your current name, perhaps from getting married decades ago, you must show the legal paper trail. You'll need your certified marriage certificate. If you're divorced and changed your name back, you'll need the court-ordered divorce decree. If you've been married more than once, you might need the paperwork for every single name change to create an unbroken chain. It's best to locate these important documents now. Before you go anywhere, visit your state's DMV website. Many have an online checklist to ensure you have what you need and let you make an appointment. If you're not comfortable online, perhaps a family member can help. This will save you a world of frustration. What if you really don't want to deal with the DMV? Or what if you just run out of time? There's a critical piece of information that should bring some peace of mind. A real ID driver's license is not your only option. The most important alternative is a valid, unexpired U.S. passport or passport card. If you have a passport, you do not need a real ID to fly within the U.S. You can just use your passport book or the smaller passport card at the TSA checkpoint, and you're good to go. For anyone who already has a passport, this is the simplest solution. But there are other alternatives too. The TSA accepts several other forms of ID, including a U.S. military ID for our veterans, a permanent resident card or green card, a DHS trusted traveler card like Global Entry, Nexus, or Sentry, and an enhanced driver's license or EDL. That last one, an enhanced driver's license, is special. A few states issue them, like Washington, Michigan, and New York. EDLs work for domestic flights and let you re-enter the U.S. by land or sea from Canada, Mexico, and some parts of the Caribbean without a passport. These cards usually have an American flag instead of a star and are fully compliant. The main takeaway is that you have options. The goal is to have at least one federally approved ID ready to go more than a month before you go on your trip. Waiting any later than that is playing with fire. We've covered a lot, but it all boils down to this. Right now, showing up to an airport with a standard driver's license means you risk a major delay or at worst being turned away at security. The trip you planned, the family reunion you can't miss, all of it could be jeopardized by that one piece of plastic in your wallet. So here is your call to action, and I really hope you take it seriously. First, do that wallet check right now. Look for the star on your license and know for sure where you stand. It takes 5 seconds. Second, if you don't see a star, your homework is to go to your state's DMV website today. Not next week, not next month, but right now. Use their online tool to figure out exactly which documents you need, paying special attention to any name change paperwork, and schedule your appointment. Do not put this off. That's the single biggest mistake you can make. This is a completely solvable problem that just takes a little bit of planning. Please share this information with your friends, family, and neighbors, anyone you know who travels. Because the only thing worse than getting grounded yourself is hearing it happen to someone you care about when it was so easy to avoid. Don't let this simple mistake mess up your travel plans in 2025.